Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and it is an exciting video because we have got patch notes to go over, which is always fun, and including a new item called Chaos Ore. So we're going to dive into that and read what Plarium has to say, and then get you my reaction to how I think this is going to affect the game. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so really quickly before we dive into the patch notes here, a quick correction from yesterday's video. So there is going to be 2X Sacreds launching for sure this weekend. I was saying in my video yesterday that I think there's going to be 2X Sacreds this weekend, and then I also missed the 10X that they're going to be doing for Glissy. The reason is when Plarium gives us the info that we can share with you guys, they usually wrap it all in a post that they tag us in, but for some reason they did it in two separate posts yesterday. So I missed the first one, and I thought the most recent one was just their post for what we can tell you guys. So I completely missed that they did actually confirm 2X Sacreds, and there was also going to be a 10X for Glissy Soul Guide. I'll get into that in a little bit, give you my thoughts on her and the summoning events coming up this weekend, but I want to go over the patch notes, just a quick correction, and apologize for missing that for you in yesterday's wrap-up video. But let's get into the good stuff. Update 5.10. So they start out with a Happy New Year, so a raid update to bring several great quality of life adjustments and a bit of new content. You can expect to see new champions, 100 extra slots for the champion vault, and a new Chaos Ore item that will allow you to change the stats of artifacts and accessories. On top of that, the Shadowkin Crypt will open its doors to all the brave warriors from the east to defeat the mighty guardians, reap in rewards, and more. So this is going to be big. This is extremely game changing. This is yeah, Chaos Ore, the ability to change substats, is really going to change how Raid functions as a game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But let's go ahead and talk about what they say about Chaos Ore here. An item that allows you to rework the stats and substats of, so like the main stat on chess pieces and stuff, and the substats. All of us sometimes receive a cool legendary artifact after a dungeon run, only to notice the substats are not exactly what we need. Before, we'd have to sell it and keep grinding. But with Chaos Ore, there's a chance to reset all the stats and get something better. Reset all the stats? Like, can you keep the main stat and just, can you just change one of them? The way it worked in Diablo 3, I come from the Diablo 3 community, was a content creator there for a while. Let's say you got a really cool legendary, and the way to relate it to Raid would be you get a 6-star legendary speed piece and the main stat, chess piece, and the main stat is HP percent. The substats are crit rate, speed, defense percent. It's looking great, and then it gets flat attack. Well, what you could do in Diablo 3 is re-roll that flat attack, and it would just get more and more expensive the more you did it. So I'm wondering if they would do it like that, or it kind of seems like it's just kind of re-roll everything. But they say reworking an artifact will require silver and a special item, the Chaos Ore, that can be used on gear of rank 5 or 6. So you're not going to be able to do this for like rank 3-star items and stuff, which is fine to be kind of an end game item for the 5 and 6-star. People would just save it until that point anyway. You will need a Chaos Ore of rarity equal or greater than the artifact you want. Oh, so we're gonna have like rank 5 Chaos Ore and rank 6 Chaos Ore, it looks like. Well, the rank has to match precisely. Okay. Keep in mind that each artifact can be reworked once. So, okay, in like Diablo 3, you could just keep doing it, but it would cost more and more resource the more you did it. But you're only going to get one shot with Chaos Ore. You'll be able to gather an unlimited amount of ore. Oh, so it's not going to be a finite resource like Faction War keys or Doom Tower silver keys. And it will be kept in the ore storage accessed via the rework tab in the artifact upgrade menu. Then there is a note that says mythical artifacts will not be applicable for rework using Chaos Ore. So if you don't remember, mythical artifacts are basically a legendary plus. So it's going to be a legendary item, but it starts with a bonus roll on one of the substats. So it's basically a legendary item that gets one extra roll on one of the substats. Okay, so the game randomizes both the main stats and the substats of the chosen artifact during the rework. So it's going to randomize the whole item, the main stat and the substats. So basically, you're just able to re-roll like a 6-star legendary or something. Okay. If the main stat is locked, helmet shields. Okay, yeah. The top items, they always have attack, HP, and defense. So that'll be locked, and you would just re-roll the substats. If the artifact has already been upgraded before, it will keep the acquired stat bonuses, though the stats themselves will change. Okay, so if you have already upgraded it to level 16 or something, it's going to keep how the rolls were distributed. It's just going to change where those rolls went. They'll get a bonus equivalent to the artifact level. However, all glyph upgrades will be lost. Okay, so yeah. Well, and I mean, if an item was already good enough that you spent really good glyphs on it, odds are it wouldn't be one you'd want to reroll anyway, so that should be mostly okay. But important to note that if you do this to an item that has glyphs, those glyphs are gone forever. So think twice before reforging artifacts you've already spent a lot of resources on. And for the time being, your main source of chaos ore will be events and tournaments, though they will also be part of some limited special offers. If something changes, we'll mention in the future notes or update releases. Okay, so now that last part's a little bit unfortunate. The way they worded it up top about you'll be able to gather right here. You'll be able to gather an unlimited amount of ore. Made it sound like they were going to add it to like dungeon farming or Minotaur scroll grinding or something, or have a dungeon potion keeps drop it or something. But it looks like it's going to be similar to like core hammers, where you can get it as a resource from events and tournaments, but you can't really grind it infinitely. You can't like buy a bunch of gem refreshes and go grind a bunch of chaos ore. It's going to be something you have to earn by completing events and tournaments. But they'll also be part of limited special offers, so you can buy them in the shop, obviously. So, okay, what do I think about what I know so far about chaos ore? I think it's a good thing, but I think it should have allowed you to, I think it should have been more like Diablo 3, where you can re-roll, where you can lock everything on the item except for like one thing you want to change. So you find that really godly piece, and you're like, oh, it has flat attack on it. It would be so good if it didn't have flat attack. You can use your chaos ore to re-roll that flat attack. So let's say you re-roll that flat attack. Oh, dang it, it rolled flat defense. Okay, let me go again. Let me try again. Let me spend another chaos ore. I think that would have been kind of cool, so you could maybe target a little bit more, but admittedly, that could be kind of broken. We could start to see like just a constant influx of perfect gear. So maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it doesn't fit in raid like it did with Diablo 3. But right now it looks like you're basically, what this is just going to be an opportunity to re-roll more 5-star legendaries and 6-star legendaries. It's like you find a 6-star speed legendary, but it's trash. What you can do is re-roll it with chaos ore until that 6-star legendary becomes good and usable. But you're not going to be able to like correct that one stat that you wish was different on an item. So yeah, I mean, all in all, it should be a good thing and a fun addition to the game. Then they go on to talk about the Shadowkin Crypt. I mostly covered this in yesterday's video, but basically the Shadowkin Crypt is going to be coming soon, and the Faction War cycle is going to be changing slightly to be a 7-day cycle now. And then also the requirement for Lydia is going to change. It is currently 819 Faction War stars, but that will obviously go up to adjust for adding the Shadowkin Crypt, having to 3-star every level in there as well to go ahead and unlock your Lydia. So the main takeaway for this is going to be make sure if you're close to finishing Faction Wars, get that focused on here the next couple weeks, because we're going to be adding Shadowkin as a requirement to get Lydia pretty soon here. And then under the miscellaneous tab, we have got 100 extra slots will become available in the champion vault. So not your main champion pool, but in the vault, you'll be able to purchase. It's important to know you're not going to get that for free. You're going to have to spend either silver or gems to unlock 100 more slots in your vault, which is unfortunate. I wish they would just give that to players. I mean, you know, players already spend so much money on raid. I wish they would just give this space out. But anyway, I digress. We'll add a new rank and rarity filter for accessories and artifacts, along with a filter that lets you hide gear that you fully reworked with chaos. Or after filtering the gear you want, you'll be able to select all. Okay, I mean, so a little bit more filtering for the the gear page when you're reworking champions. That's always a good thing. The more filters we have, the better. So yeah, let me know down below what you think about the addition of the Chaos Ore. I think it should be something fun to add to the raid universe. So I'm glad they're continuing to innovate. We just got the Hydra, and they're still coming right out the gate with new stuff with Chaos Ore, and it's definitely going to change how acquiring gear works and all that. So would love to hear your input on that as well. But let's quickly move into the other stuff going on this weekend. Obviously going to be 2x Sacreds. We talked about this in yesterday's video, and then coinciding with the 2x Sacreds. For 2 days of that, there's going to be a 10x for Glissy Soul Guide, which is this champion right here, the new legendary to be added to the game for Sacred Order. Glissea, I mean, however you want to say that. Glissy, Glissea. That is going to be the 10x coinciding with 2x Sacreds. Now, worth noting, 10x's are worth nowhere near as much as they are for Void Shards, because there's so many more non-Void Legos that your odds of getting the 10x to be impactful is a lot less. So if you're going to have to pick, I think the first 2 days is going to be the 10x for Glissea, and then on Sunday, after that 48 hours that the 10x is live, it'll just be normal 2x Sacred. So you can pick, do you want to coincide with a boosted chance to get Glissea, or do you just want normal 2x Sacreds? And if so, wait till that ends and then pull on Sunday. I think that's how it's going to be functioning. So let's just do a quick refresher course here on Glissea. We got an A1 with a 30% chance that we can book up to 50 of placing a freeze for 1 turn. Also apply a debuff spread, taking 1 random debuff from that target and placing it on all enemies that are currently under a freeze. So going to work great with someone like a Torment. You'll get a constant influx of debuffs spreading around and some CC here on the A1. And we're noting she scales with defense and has a really high base defense of 1509. The A2 is going to be an AoE with a default 3-turn cooldown. I like that. And we're going to do AoE weaken for 2 turns and also steal a random buff, not just remove. We're going to steal it and place it on her to anybody under a freeze. So more coinciding with someone like a Torment. And then we're going to be getting a block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns, and also a 60% chance to place a freeze. We can book it up to 80% on all enemies for 1 turn. Fill the champion's turn meter by 15% for each freeze debuff that gets placed, and that is why it's on a 4-turn cooldown instead of a 3-turn cooldown, because we get a little bit of turn meter fill in there based on kind of what's going on with placing freezes. So if you get her paired with a pretty good amount of freezes, this is kind of like a 3.5-turn cooldown. Then we also have a passive here that is a really cool part of her kit, which is this champion skills cannot be put on cooldown. The first thing that comes to mind is something like Warlord and being a counter to that. Whenever an enemy tries to put either this champion skills or an ally skills on cooldown, place a freeze debuff on that enemy, and also have 50% chance of denying the cooldown increase effect. So you got somebody that tries to increase the cooldown of one of your allies. There's a 50-50 shot that Glissea is just gonna deny that, and it's not gonna happen. Then you're not only going to do that, but you're going to put a freeze on the person that tried to do it, and the freeze cannot be blocked or resisted. Will not deny cooldown increasing effects from bosses, and then she gets an ally resistant all battles by 60. So I do think Glissea is a cool champion. So I don't have her yet. I'll probably pull during the 2x Sacreds. I'll pull some shards on my account. There's definitely some non-void Legos I still need, and I think you might as well go for her. She's a pretty solid champion to have on your account, and I think that's going to be a cool niche. So the way Raid is evolving here is you really need, like, for Tag Team Arena and Classic Arena, they're going to be releasing Gold 5. They're going to be adding tiers to Platinum. You're going to need to know these counters when you're doing PvP. You're going to need to know, like, oh, okay, I should probably bring in an Astralon versus this Duchess because he'll deal with the Veil. I need to bring this champion versus teams that have Torment. I need to bring this champion versus teams that have Hegemon. You're going to need to know these counters and how all these champions work together. And I think Glissea is going to be a cool opportunity to counter some of those Warlord teams and have this at your disposal. So yeah, I think remember your chance during non-void Legos, the 10x isn't as impactful, but I think pulling during the boosted event for her, it is a good idea for most accounts, because she's definitely cool to have, and she's a pretty decent progression champion as well, with a lot of cool stuff here going on the kit, and a very tanky champion as well. Then as we transition to the stuff going on in game right now, CVC has concluded, so good luck. I hope your match went well. And if you're curious, I expect the next clan vs. clan to be on Tuesday, January 18th, about 12 days from now. So let's go ahead and claim these. We got a few pieces here. Let's go ahead and grade them live and see how that went. So alrighty, come on. Was CVC worth it in this iteration or not? A really good ring. Okay, so this is a reaction ring, and it's defense, which is probably the most valuable rings of all the main stats. And we get the triple percent. So that's like an instant 16. So this is one. Now it is skinwalkers, which unfortunately I don't really use a ton in the arena. Reaction is more of an arena piece. But this is an example of an insta GG, something you would immediately take to 16. Even if it rolled like 2 flat attacks or something, it's still worth it to take it to 16 because just being a reaction piece, you get so much value in the arena. And then you can see here we've already hit 2 defense percents, so it was worth it for sure. This is a very, very good piece. It's just the faction I wish was a little bit different. That's what they should do. Let us use the Chaos Ore to change the faction on accessories. That would be great. I would love that if Chaos Ore would let us re-roll to another random faction. So I could re-roll my Skinwalker ring here, and it might roll like Dark Elves, or it might roll Dwarves or something. So that'd be kind of cool if you could take the faction and re-roll that with the Chaos Ore. This was kind of unfortunate to hit the double flat attack, but hey, still a pretty solid piece. A reaction ring is always good to add to the roster. Then we've got another reaction piece right here. So this is a 2-2. It is a defense ring, Night Rev, which is all right. Not perfectly ideal. You're wanting to hit HP here. At least we hit a percent. I won't roll this one to 16 immediately. I'm just going to take it to 12. When I add new things to my account, I try to at least, or things that I'm going to keep, I try to at least take it to 12 so I can see what's going on and how it's going to roll and all that. So could have been worse, but yeah, you know, it's like a 3 out of 10. It's a reaction piece that rolled defense main stat, so pretty good. But the substats there are pretty unfortunate. Resistance with shield, it rolled triple percent. If the defense were speed, it would be just Deus Meos, but it's not that great. We're gonna take this one to 8 just to kind of see what happens here. Flat defense. It's gonna be a pretty big rip here. Yeah, that's not a very. That's like a 2 out of 10 there. Okay, and then we get an accuracy. Big rip on this. I'm not even gonna keep this one. Triple flat accuracy. I don't think either one of these are really worth adding to the roster, quite honestly. So we're just gonna cut those and then keep the couple reaction pieces that we got right there. Then under the tournaments tab, we'll transition to the stuff that you need to know, whether to grind or not. We've got a dragon tournament going on right now. It's a perfectly par for the course, normal dragon tournament. There is no void or sacred or legendary book or anything, so you don't really have to feel bad about skipping this one if you don't want to do it. You're not missing out on a whole lot. Then there is going to be a classic arena takedown starting tomorrow, as well as a champion chase. This is going to act as kind of a pseudo countdown to when the Sacred event and the Glaceia 10X should be starting. We have a countdown right there with the Champion Chase tournament, coinciding with pulling some Sacred Shards over the weekend. Then as we move on into the events tab, we have currently got an artifact enhancement event, so a good time to take some of those pieces you just earned to go ahead and at least get to 1500 to claim those core hammers. I would do that before the end of the day for sure. And then a champion training event right here. You do have a legendary book. It's 11,000 points, so that can be worth grinding because it's never a bad time to level up your champions anyway. But there isn't anything like a fusion or anything super special about the champion training event. But obviously, legendary books are tough to come by in game, so you're gonna have to weigh your options there if it's worth going crazy on the champion training or not. So let's fire up the shop and see what we've got here. If there's anything worth talking about, the gift chain, the monthly pack, the mini mix, all that's par for the course. $30 for Divine Offense gear. Not a recommend from me. Okay, this one worth looking at. This is going to be a chained offer with 4 chains. Looks like a bunch of skill books. 2-in-1, 3-in-2. It doesn't. I obviously don't know the whole value chart, but it doesn't look like it's going to be worth it in my opinion in terms of recommending or not. And then another pack string here. A lot of energy. Again, I don't know the whole string off the top of my head, but yeah, so it's hard to say between these two. But unfortunately, I'm not seeing super or anything super amazing in the shop to really take note of today. So alrighty, that's what we needed to get covered in this one. Let me know what you think about the new Chaos Ore coming to Raid. It's always exciting when we get something new, and I think this shouldn't be quite as daunting as the Hydra. This should be just more one of those things that's fun to use and fun for us all to dive in and try out on some of these big items that don't roll well. We can go ahead and just instantly kind of re-roll it and see if we can't get something worth using. I anticipate it's going to get mostly used on like the speed sets and the best sets in the game, you get a 6-star legendary Relentless, which is super rare to acquire one of those because you can't farm them. Well, now you can spend your Chaos ore until that 6-star legendary is usable. I think that's going to be kind of how it is used the most on your pieces that are most impactful on your account. The things like the Doom Tower, the lethal set, which is kind of like a beefed up Savage, Divine Speed, Relentless, stuff like that. When you get 6-star legendaries, now you've got a little bit of a better opportunity to make them worthwhile. But let me know how you're thinking about it. And also, I'm going to head on over to stream if you would like to come hang out and talk about some of this stuff going on. We'll hang out for a little bit and just kind of chill and play some raid together. So that's going to do it for me on this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.